When I heard that Android phones were finally supporting their own global tracking network like iPhones do, I was so excited. So much so that I bought 3 different tags that are compatible with GPS tracking through Android phones. Whilst we'll figure out which one has the furthest range and which has the most features, we'll also find which one is waterproof. Look how much water is in there. And which one gives you a compass sometimes. What happened to the compass that I paid for? It really hasn't been a smooth process. Like, Google says to not put them on pets, but then an official partner puts them on pets, and the default mode performs worse than AirTags. And at setup, if you tap the learn more button to learn that, it breaks the setup process. And once I realized they're missing features that were on tags 10 years ago, it's no surprise that I'm disappointed in my purchase. It's just like buffering. Now it's where I was parked before. Well, what the heck? It just happened. How's Google with all of their engineers not done that? Like, the app is literally still saying that it's making sound. It's completely silent. This video isn't about look at all these things that went wrong. It's more so these things went wrong, but here's how to navigate them to have a better user experience and not go through the pain like I have. Because I shouldn't have to make this video. A portion of today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. Now you might be thinking, Cam, easy there, mate. Like, isn't this like a new product? Well, no. Google actually said back in May of 2023 that they're ready to launch the tracker network, but they're first going to wait until Apple added anti-stalking alerts for iPhones, which took Apple an entire year, so now it's May 2024 when these products hit shelves. So now, a year and a half later, with a major feature update released in August of 2025, I figured it's the perfect time to test the network. To simulate a stolen bike scenario, I'm going to place my 3 tags on my brother. Before Brad leaves on his bike, I'm going to ensure he has the default tracking mode set on his phone. Yes, Android has multiple tracking modes, and we'll go through them. Once he's out of signal range, I can mark all of my tags as lost. Now I should get a notification if there's a location update. Look, we'll sit here for like maybe 5 or so minutes. Oh, it's found one. The me tag was found. Where? Where? It's just like buffering, trying to load the Find My app. Okay, it just crashed and closed itself. Let's reopen the app. Come on. It said the me tag was found somewhere. Was that it? It's not there anymore. He rode away. Google, you're giving me false hope. Ooh. All right, your device was located. Another notification. Oh, it actually did update. Last seen today at 5:22. Let's go, baby! Let's go! All right, so he got pinged in the car park. My guess is he's up on the corner. Okay. All right, find nearby. Sup? Found ya. It actually pinged all of them, and one of them pinged in the car park on the way in. Oh. So I actually found some cars. So I'm very surprised. Yeah. Honestly, I was not expecting to find Brad, so that's really good. Now I've set his phone into the all network areas. And it's here where things start to go downhill. Well, Brad's riding on flat ground, but you get what I'm saying. To explain why I was so surprised to find Brad, we need to go into the differences between Apple AirTags and Google's version. It is so different, and it's taken me a lot of reading to kind of unpack and understand how it does it in a private manner. So my initial impression was that if my tag was lost and it came near a stranger's Android phone, they would then send Google the GPS location back to me so I could then go and find the tag. But that's not how the default mode works. The default mode is with network in high traffic areas only, which means that if someone stole my bike and rode away with it, and they even had an Android phone, I wouldn't get any updates unless they rode past multiple Android phones in a high traffic area. Now, Google doesn't say how many strangers' phones are required before I get sent the average GPS location to my phone, which is why I was surprised that when Brad went to the shopping center, I got that ping. Just meant that there was enough Android phones around him to get the update. But what happens if we want to make it work like we originally expected with just one stranger's phone? Well, then we have to change to with network in all areas. To get to that setting, we need to click my profile icon, settings, find hub, tap find your offline devices, and then we have presented with network in all areas. It really is just a great spot to put the most important setting for the entire network. Like, Brad didn't get lost at all after I'd already just showed him where to go. We're just trying to toggle between the different modes. Now, it's great that our phones have measures to stop us from being physically tracked, but they don't really when it comes to online tracking. And I know you're thinking, Cam, you're about to say a VPN would help. No, not if it's free, because if you're using a digital service online without paying cash, then you're generally paying with your data. That's where today's sponsor, NordVPN, with their 4 times verified no logs policy against storing data on the websites you visit, can help you. There's so many poorly coded websites out there that will load in the IP address location of your device. And so instead of spending half my holiday trying to find the little flag that's like either American flag or sometimes an Australian flag or like a British flag to get English, when I'm traveling, I just run a VPN constantly back to Australia for not only a more secure, but also more seamless web browsing experience. But what about networks that block VPNs? Well, NordWhisper, which launched this year, will try and disguise your VPN connection as normal internet traffic. Click my link below, nordvpn.com/camshand, and you'll get 4 bonus months on a 2-year plan. Big thank you to Nord for supporting my channel by sponsoring this video. Now, to be fair, during the setup process, Google will ask you if you want to switch that all areas network mode. So I'm going to tap connect here on this tag, and I've got my Bluetooth saved devices page open in the background, and we'll see at the very top, this tag now slots into my saved Bluetooth devices. So if I click here where it says find your device in more places, do you want to enable this high traffic area? If I click this learn more button to learn what I'm agreeing to, and I get a web page, what has happened to the setup process? That bottom half of the screen's completely disappeared. Now, first thought, let's factory reset the tag and it will pop back up. Nope. Okay, and the Moto tag isn't showing in my Find My Device tags. This tag, as we saw before, is in my saved devices, which means my phone will never recognize it as something new to set up unless I go in and manually forget the device that was paired during the setup process. Now, if I factory reset it again with the holding for 5 seconds, every tag also has a different sequence, but now we should hopefully see the pop-up appear. There it is. We can hit connect. It pops back up into our saved devices. And instead of this time clicking learn more, we click turn on. Yep, open the app. And now at the bottom of the list, you can see the Moto tag has been added. Well, it's now gone. Well, what the heck? It just happened. Mate, I can't make this stuff up. It's hard to tell if it's better than my first experience last year where it failed to set up over and over again, but eventually just randomly worked. Hey. At least I know now when I'm unboxing a tag to always just agree and continue. Don't read and learn more. Just speed run the setup process and then you should be fine. Now, I can't explain why it disappeared on one of those setups, but I think I figured out why it gets stuck in limbo. That's because this Motorola Moto tag specifically has bonus Bluetooth features, which is probably why it's getting stuck in that saved Bluetooth state. Google instead should be deleting it from the paired Bluetooth devices if you don't complete the Find My Network setup process, but they don't. You most likely know that Apple makes the AirTag, but there are also third-party options which are compatible with the Apple Find My network. However, Google currently doesn't make their own tag. There are only third-party options available. Whilst the shape could be like a credit card or a suitcase, yeah, it's built into the frame. Just like Apple, accessories like a pair of headphones can also be tracked through the network. Every option out there has its own strengths and weaknesses. As for mine, well, my most expensive is the Pebblebee Clip Gen 2. It has a built-in, you guessed it, clip. Rechargeable over USB-C with claimed 12 months battery life that seems to be about right. The LEDs flash in the dark, IPX6 water resistant rating for splashes of water, claimed range of 150 meters, which we'll test later on. As for price, it's been succeeded by the Clip Universal, which is 54 Aussie. I had to order from overseas, so there was extra for shipping. Second most expensive is the Motorola Moto Tag. It's very close to AirTag dimensions. Now, some reviewers say it doesn't fit into every AirTag accessory, but it does into my hidden bike reflector mount. Powered by a button battery, it's got a claimed 12 months battery life, but I've had to replace it after 6 months. However, they did release a firmware update to fix battery issues, and it seems to be good now. That firmware update also unlocked ultra-wideband support, which is great when it works. You'll see. Now that red O-ring seal gives us an IP67 rating for complete dust protection and water submersion up to 1 meter deep up to 30 minutes. After 29 minutes, the circuit board side only had water on the speaker hole, which is to be expected. However, on the back plate, there was a bit of water between it and the battery. It's worth mentioning that O-ring seals wear out over time, and I have opened mine more than the average user over the past 9 months. Thankfully, after its swim, it dried out and works fine. Claimed range of 100 meters, which we'll test later. I've only found it on sale at Harvey Norman in Australia, comes in green and navy and retails for around 50 Aussie bucks. Finally, my budget option, the Milli-Me tag with a keychain hole. Powered by a button battery with claims of up to 12 months. However, I've only had it for 1, so I can't comment on that. Claims 100 meters of signal range, which we'll test, just like the IP67 water resistance rating, from a piece of foam on the back plate of a plastic on plastic friction fit housing, which I ensured was pressed closed around the entire perimeter. After submerging in water and starting the timer, I immediately noticed something. For air bubbles to escape, this means that water is entering the water resistant enclosure. After just 3 minutes, I pulled it out, dried it off, and cracked it open. At first glance, I thought just the foam was wet, until I removed the battery. Oh my gosh, bro. Whoa! Now this tag, and therefore its seal, is only a few weeks old. Thankfully, after I dried it off, it works fine, but that was a 3.5 minute swim that took on this much water, not the up to 30 minutes of an IP67 rating. Oh wait, my mistake. Here they claim that it's now waterproof. Look how much water is in there. And it's $21.99 from Amazon. Now, I don't have a decibel meter or anything, so to figure out which one's the loudest, I'm just gonna point the microphone at them, and then we can look at the waveforms. So Pebble Clip. The Moto Tag has 4 sounds we can actually change between. And then the Me Tag. It's worth noting the Me Tag only beeps for 10 seconds, even though the play sound duration should be a whole minute. Like the app is literally still saying that it's making sound. It's completely silent. For speaker placement, the Pebble Clip and Moto Tag are facing upwards, whereas the Me Tag is facing sideways. It's a side-firing hole on the tag. I won't know the waveform results till I edit the video, so whoever won is on screen. Before we try to track Brad in town with the network in all areas mode, it is worth noting that you can only use the phone app to locate tags, not the website. If I open that website version, it only shows internet-connected Android devices, no accessories or tracker tags. Now, I know that the reason they're missing is because of the end-to-end encryption, and if Google showed me the GPS location of the tracker tags, then they're breaking their privacy policy by looking at the GPS location of the tracker tags. It's the same thing for Apple with their iCloud Find My Network. You can't see AirTags. However, the average consumer won't know this. The average consumer would click the help button on the Google Find Hub webpage. There's no mention on the help page from the website about why the website doesn't display tracker tags. But not all hope is lost. If I share my tag's location with somebody else, it generates a link. If I click that link on my computer, I'll get advised that I need to open the URL on an Android device which has the Find My Device app installed. This is the only message that I've seen on the Google website or help page for the website around finding tracker tags. It's a guessing game, and it just keeps getting worse. All right, so we'll switch your setting now. Find your offline devices. And now go down to the bottom one. Network in all areas. So now, as you ride, because your phone's on that, it should update because you're an Android user. Okay, I just marked all 3 tags as lost in the Find My app. So in theory, this will be like the most Apple tag style update. So Google sent me an email to say that I've marked my stuff as lost. And if it gets located, I'll get a notification. Dude, the sun's going down. It's gonna be dark before we even find Brad. So I double checked my phone was also on the all network setting, and with no update, I called Brad. Yo, there's been no updates. Shouldn't I just double check that setting is for sure turned on?
I got 3 different pop-ups. Says I'm being tracked.
Oh, okay, so you've been given pop-ups to say you're being tracked, but I'm not getting any notification to say that my stuff is nearby an Android phone. I wonder if it's like a time-based thing, so that I can't stalk you. It won't tell me where they are immediately.
The Moto one just popped up again just then. And it says the owner will be notified the device was located.
It might do it now. Let's do a refresh. And I click on Moto tag. Oh, now it updates. Oh my gosh, I didn't get a notification there.
Of course, it'll update once you've refreshed it or something.
Yeah, I physically click on it. Now they're all updating. You need the cinemas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll keep an eye on this now because now at least we know it's updating. To just ride to a third location. We'll do it quick. It's crazy how like each tag has such a wild difference. They're on his body and Google has got 3 different areas for them. This one's huge. I don't even know what device this is. There isn't even an icon for whatever this third one is. It's just so disappointing. It's important to note that tracker tags often use little button cell batteries, where if these were ingested by a human or animal, they could die from internal chemical burns. Product packaging in Australia have big labels about keeping these batteries out of reach of children, and Google doesn't recommend tracking tags be used with pets, presumably because a dog may just chew one open, which is why it's concerning to see on the Me Tag website it dangling from a dog's collar on a thin cord. And as a dog dad, well, I'm pretty concerned about pet safety. You may remember from a couple years ago, I made a video on this Eufy Smart Track link that works on Apple's Find My network. And in that video, I raised my concern about how a single pry action removes the back, causing the battery to fall out, which is most likely why I've never seen them on Australian shelves. So why am I bringing this up now? Well, Google's website lists a new variant of this tag for the Android network. And from the images I can see, they look the same from the outside. So I'd recommend waiting for reviews to see what they look like on the inside, as it is a concern that the battery falls out the second the back is pried off. Children can easily pry off a back. That's why toys often have a screw on any battery compartment door. As for my 3 tags, whilst the Milli is a pry open, the battery doesn't instantly fall out. You need to pry it from the body, or it can be knocked out. Whereas the Moto tag is a push and turn, multi-stage movement before the battery falls out. It's like an Apple AirTag and the same as a child-safe cap on a bottle. Of course, the Pebble Bee clip is excluded from this concern, being a built-in rechargeable battery. However, it has its own sustainability concern because once it degrades to the point where it's unusable, well, it's not user replaceable. So yeah, there's that. According to the manufacturers, the Pebble Bee clip should have the furthest signal range. It's important to note that before each test, I ensured the battery levels weren't low, and because I don't want to have to pay for my Pixel 8 Pro to be repaired, it'll be in its case, as it is for everyday use. I also have a free third-party app installed called AirGuard, which not only alerts me to nearby tags, but gives me signal bars to easily test range. For a distance test, I've come to an oval. Google says the distance from the goals at each end is 150 meters. The Pebble Bee tag should get the full 150 meters. I'm gonna drop them down at one end of the goals, and then we'll walk to the other goals with my phone and see how far we can get. Oh my gosh, it's finding a lot of devices. People walking around, I guess there's people around the oval with their iPhone. This is the middle, the goals all the way down there. Why is Google saying it can't find them? It says last seen today at 1:13 p.m. Like they all disappeared at just midway, which isn't even 75 meters. I want to sit it on top of the I guess safety cushion on the goalpost. That will hold. Last one. All right, almost at the center of the field now. Going off Google Maps, this should be 75 meters. Wow, that says 71.7. That's pretty cool. Goalpost to goalpost, 150 meter distance, Moto tag. It says it's nearby. I can't really go further. The goals are like all the way at the other end. Oh, it's saying the Pebble Bee is nearby, and so is the Me tag. Using Google Maps, we can get a rough distance from the goalpost to where I ended up at about 175 meters. At this distance, the Me tag and Pebble Bee clip start dropping in and out of range, as well as Chelsea's AirTag through the AirGuard app. Although the Moto tag dropped off first at the 150 meter mark in this best case scenario up high against a metal pole, I'd still pick it over the other options for everyday tracking. So we just got the ultra-wideband firmware update. Moto tags over there. Ooh, here we go. Hold your phone upright. All right. Ultra-wideband, let's go. Connected. It says 3.3 meters away. We haven't got a compass yet. I'm just gonna spin around. Yeah, all right. Allow Find Hub to use my camera. Why do you need camera access to give me a compass? So the black dot is a track tag, and I have to put my phone pointing like upright. But as you can see, like over to the side, it says, hey, it's over to the right. Now it's over to the left. So yeah, the compass works. Interestingly, when I put my phone on the couch, it said I need to turn the torch on because it was too dark. So although ultra-wideband is radio waves that don't require ambient light, it seems Google may be using the cameras to help with the motion tracking as I move my hand around. In case you're unaware, the other tags use standard tracking, which is just a hotter, colder situation. Either you're getting closer or further away. So if you have a phone running Android 13 and up and it's on the supported devices list, then a tag that has ultra-wideband is worth it. Well, when it works. Moto tag. Putting on this box. Ultra-wideband is on in settings. Moto tag, device is close. That's all it says. What happened to the meters away to like get proper tracking? This is the only reason I bought this tag, is to have the meters. And the Google app will no longer tell me the meters today. I don't know, dude. I'm on the other side of the room. It just says it's here. What happened to the compass that I paid for? No matter what I did yesterday, I could not get a compass to tell me where this was. Why is it so unreliable? The app is absolutely horrible. How can Google tell me where my tag is without knowing where my tag is? They're using a private public key combo. Think of like a padlock. You have the key, the padlock is the public element. Anybody can close a padlock, but only you with the key can open the padlock. And so think of the encryption as kind of like my tag as the lock, but the lock has a unique identifier that ties it back to me. When someone reads the lock, they have no idea who the unique identifier is, but they can put the GPS coordinates into it, lock the lock, and then tell Google to deliver the information to me. Google reads the lock and they can only see who it's addressed to. They have a database that goes, that unique identifier that's encrypted matches Cam, I'm gonna give it to him. I get it, I can then unlock the lock, look at the longitude, latitude GPS data on my phone because my phone has the key, and then see where my tag is. And so that makes the whole process anonymous and private, which is really freaking cool. And to keep things simple, at least when these launched, AirTags were the same. So it's the with network in all areas mode. But the default for the Google Tracker tags is not that. Okay, so I just gathered all my old phones that are broken. These will be our strangers' phones, and then just a handful of locks from around the house. We have black, which is going to simulate the default mode, busy areas only, and red, which will simulate the network in all areas mode. Now let's say, for example, that my tag gets lost from my phone, and a stranger's phone comes within range of it. Well, they may generate their GPS location, lock it down with my public key, and send it to Google. Google will notice that they're on the default mode, and they won't send it to me. Another stranger's phone comes nearby, realizes that my tag is lost, generates their GPS location, encrypts it with my public key, and then they send it to Google. Google won't send it to me because they're on the default. But what if someone comes along and they're in the all areas mode as well as I am? Well then, Google will straight away pass that to me. This is all I need to be able to get a location to go start looking for my tag. But let's pretend that instead they were actually on the default mode. Well, now their data goes into this pile. We don't know how many phones need to be present and providing data, right, into this pile. But since I only have 5 old phones that need to be donated for e-waste, we're going to pretend that 5 have found my tag and 5 have given us the data. Now this next step is just my interpretation of how they will do aggregated data, because they don't say the exact process, but this makes sense, right? So they get enough data that they send it to my phone. My phone uses its key to unlock all the encrypted data, and instead of showing me the raw data of where each individual stranger was, my phone will show me a center point of the crowdsourced data. Now, the tag could be actually over here, but if I go into that center point there with my phone, it'll connect to the tag and then I can find it, provided it hasn't moved. My main issue with this though is that if someone stole something and they're on the default mode, then I have to hope that they take it into a busy area to have a chance of knowing where my stuff's gone, opposed to AirTag users with iPhones where their default or only mode is more like Google's all areas mode. But then I saw something that made me realize that, well, Google's default is necessary. This is the part that I don't like about tech. I guess, normally talk about this type of stuff because I like to keep positivity on the channel, but it's the reality. My wife was watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders on Netflix in the living room, and I was doing the classic walk by, stop, and see what's going on with the reality TV show, and then keep on walking. Number one, they do an insane level of cardio and smile the entire time. That's crazy. Secondly, there was a segment with Kelsey, one of the cheerleaders. I'm just gonna play it.
An AirTag put on my car, and I didn't know until I got home, so whoever it was could see where I lived.
Thank you again for...
I started to see this car following me. I had to call the police and file a police report, but there's never anything that they can do until somebody hurts me. So it really took away my sanity, to be completely honest.
It was like a slap in the face. I was getting so frustrated that my tracker tags were being restricted more than Apple AirTags until I saw that. It completely floored me.
I was so scared. I mean, I was turning my back at every corner. I was watching every car that I saw multiple times and writing down license plates, and it just it makes you crazy. I couldn't live that anxious all the time. I couldn't not sleep, not eat, because I was so scared of what could happen.
She makes the point that her partner is 6'4" male and probably can't fully understand how she's feeling, but he was mad about the situation. And I think that I would be in the same position if it happened, I guess, to my wife. I would be so pissed off, but I myself, if it happened to me, would just be like, maybe they're trying to steal my car. I wouldn't be instantly thinking that it's to assault me. With that as context, I'm happy with the default setting. It's also good there's an at-home protection feature, where if a user has chosen to save their home address in their Google account, their Android device will also ensure it doesn't contribute crowdsourced location reports to the Find Hub network when it's near a user's home. That's combined with the unknown tracker alerts that Brad received as well, which both Android and iPhone users benefit from. Whilst you can disable crowdsourced base tracking altogether and only show the last known location that your phone saw your tag and ignore everyone else's, it's only Android that gives you that extra power to choose between busy areas or not. But in the pursuit of optimal privacy and user safety, it would seem that Google has forgotten the basics of a Bluetooth tracking tag. I probably should keep my eyes out for snakes. What if you have no internet connection? Well, that's okay. We've got Bluetooth, and you only need Bluetooth if you're in the bush, right? Right? Well, let's say I was pulling something out of my pocket or my bag and I dropped my keys. Now in theory I could backtrack my steps, and if I got close enough with the Bluetooth connection I could use the hot and cold to then find it. See how it says couldn't find devices? The Google Find My Hub app requires the internet to find a local Bluetooth device. And if I run the manual scan that's built into Android, we do find an AirTag that happens to be my wife's AirTag that I brought with me. None of my Android trackers are showing up. My theory is, because they're my Android trackers, they're pairing to the Bluetooth of my phone and therefore not showing as any alarm. They're not going into that I'm lost state. But that third-party app AirGuard will actually show up all three Android trackers, giving me a signal bar so I could, wander around and go hot and cold. Where is it along the track? Mate, this is like one of the most basic Bluetooth tracker tag situations. Somewhere where there's no internet, you're on a hike, you're camping, and you just need to find your thing. You can't, unless you have pre-installed a third-party app. Crazy. In comparison, this is my wife's iPhone. It's on SOS, no cellular, no Wi-Fi. I can tap Find Nearby and use only Bluetooth to find this tag. And if I put the tag down, move the phone away, we get the arrow to point to where the tag is. It's almost like you don't need the internet to find a Bluetooth tracking tag. Now, I got that test idea from an article on Android Authority. The author is Rita. Her article highlights the same thing I'm saying. Google had 8 months to fix its bad network. It's still not fixed. I'll link it below because it's good insights to the main alternatives for an Android user. This video is more a deep dive into just Google's tag versus the benchmark being an AirTag. But it did make me remember something. Tile tag trackers, which have been out for over a decade now, have left behind alerts. Left behind alerts is the most simplest of code. It would be, is the Bluetooth device connected, yes or no? If no, has my location changed more than 100 or 150 meters since no? If yes, then send a notification to say, hey, you most likely left your thing behind. If someone needs like an EpiPen or something, you would stick the tag on the EpiPen or in that bag, and it's vital to make sure that you don't ever disconnect and leave it behind, so those alerts are essential. How's Google with all of their engineers not done that? Google never said they were adding those features to their tags, but when your benchmark competitor does, and Samsung tag does, and Tile tag does, what are you doing? Now Tile's gonna cop a stray here because they have the left behind alert, but it's hidden behind a $4.99 Australian cent paywall subscription. Yes, you have to pay them to have your phone use its internal sensors, Bluetooth and GPS, to see if you've left the tag that you've paid them money for the hardware. Samsung, with their tags, don't require payment, and Apple, with their AirTags, don't require payment. So why do they? And this brings me to a very important element, subscription services, and the extra apps that come with these devices. So the base functionality that we've been talking about with Google Find My Network is free. But depending on the tag you buy, there are extra features you can add on. So Pebblebee have some good options. The free option in their app is firmware updates. Set up the Find My Phone, which if you double press the tags button, it'll make your phone ring so you can find it. Or set up the alert feature. Now alert is unique to the Pebblebee compared to the other tags that I have. If you rapid press its button, the lights will blink as bright as they can, the buzzer will beep as loud as it can, and then the app, provided you have internet access, will send your GPS location to one emergency contact. If you want it to then send it to more than one person and update the GPS location live, you need to pay a monthly subscription. And I'm fine with that because their servers are actually doing something. Motorola's MotorTag, a lot more simple. There's no subscriptions. Its app simply does firmware updates, double press to find your phone, and then its special feature is if you give it permission to look at your entire screen and it just promises not to do anything with that information, it can then tell when you have the camera app open and act as a remote Bluetooth shutter button. And then finally the Milli Me Tag, no app. It's the most basic out of all of them, has no extra features, so it doesn't need the app. And so the big question is, with 3 of these tags on my brother and he's riding through the city, can we finally find him? Is location updating? Moto tag is on Bath Lane. The Me tag is on same-ish area, and Pebblebee Clip on Bath Lane. All right, well that's where we're going. I just realized something. I still haven't been given a new notification yet from the Find My app to say that my stuff's been found. Update all. Swivels. It's saying that they're in my area. Me tag. Oh my god, this app is horrible. It just jumped. Let me click on the next one, Moto tag. It'll jump. Junk. Oh my gosh, it's not updating any location as it should. This is horrid. Look, I can't see him. Bro, where is bro? Dude, it just jumped back to the cinema. What is going on? He's in one location. I've literally just driven to where it said they were. And then when I get to the place, it then moves them somewhere else. Now it's where I was parked before. Yo.
Yo.
Have you been in the same location the whole time? Like you haven't moved since the last?
Yeah, I've been stationary for quite a while now.
It's updating very sporadically. I found him. Oh, now they're all pinging. My phone's gone ballistic. My God. Have you been sleeping like just here the whole time?
Yep.
Brad confirmed that he rode past all of those areas that I went to, but had been stationary here before I got those location updates, which from my test, it seems Google delays updates for about 15 minutes, so you can't live track someone. They also update at random intervals, so each tag was reporting a different location, but it's simpler to interpret the map as the center point being Brad's phone and the circle radius being the maximum distance my tag could be away based on the signal strength and what type of communication it could do with his phone. You've been here for how long?
Long time.
Far out. I can't stress this enough. The longer that something is lost, the longer it is at risk of being stolen. And so it's frustrating that in this final test, although all my tags are marked as lost, I didn't get a single notification, even though Google says that I should. And if I manually press the refresh button in the Find Hub app, the tags displayed on the map didn't update their location. It's only clicking on each individual tag, revealing that Google had location updates that were ready to be released, but just didn't tell me about it. Actually, I got a notification, but I was already in the app looking at locations. Drop a comment for Brad. He ended up getting rained on whilst we were doing this test. Thank you. It's pretty obvious I'm quite frustrated by this product launch. And so for that to change, I've bundled up 5 main improvements, starting with what's, in my opinion, minimal effort to implement. So number 1 is don't put not now on a button about anti-stalking settings. I'm not saying this is intended to be a textbook psychological manipulation technique, such as leave a review, not now, turn on notifications, not now, make me your default web browser, not now, but for a potential victim of stalking to have their control taken away at setup when being asked if they want to increase their risk by toggling into with network in all areas, the buttons should be yes or no. And while you're at it, fix that Learn More button so that they could click on the Learn More and educate themselves that the fact is the setting can be changed, not now, without completely bricking the entire setup process. Number 2, voice over cam here, point 2 may have been half solved due to a bug. See, if I clicked not now during the setup process, I was immediately shown a yellow button to prompt changing my decision. And if I tapped it, it went to the settings mode, where if I increased my risk, the shortcut then disappeared, meaning I'd have to figure out how to get to that settings section myself to then decrease risk. But when filming the demo for this segment, the shortcut appeared and then vanished while still in the default mode. I want a shortcut here, but just to say what mode is active and that I could tap to change it. For number 3, if the user has tags in the app on their phone, when they log into the web app version, display a message saying that tags can only be seen in the app on their phone due to end-to-end encryption, then make the help button lead to a help page about what the website can or cannot do. Number 4, when I click the refresh button on a page that shows the GPS location for all my devices, refresh the GPS location for all my devices. I shouldn't have to click on each individual tag to then update their GPS location on the main page. Also, fix notifications. Oh my gosh, I didn't get a notification there. And finally, number 5, make these Bluetooth tracker tags, wait for it, discoverable with Bluetooth. The fact that the Find Hub app requires the internet is unacceptable. And whilst at it, I'll then add left behind alerts, which decade-old tracker tags have. Whew. Mate, I feel like I've been going through the stages of grief. Like, I had really high hopes for this product. Like, I was so excited. And now it's like, I just don't even know. Like, it's been on the shelves for 1.5 years, and I was holding out for that ultra-wideband update. But then as you saw, one day it was just like, nah, I'm not gonna work. I'm not going to give you the compass. And I'm like, I paid money for this to do that. Now, if someone from Google is watching this video, hit us up. Like, you guys own YouTube, so you can get my email. I will go through all of the improvements that I think would make this better, because I want it to be better not for myself, but also everyone else, as it's a crowdsourced network. So the more people that use it and like it and then continue to use it, the better it is for me to find my stuff when they go missing. If you like this video though, thumbs it. If you loved it, sub it, because we've got back-to-back-to-back custom tech projects coming up, mate. There is so much happening. I'm very excited to start making stuff again. So yeah, catch ya. Bye. See you next time. Oh, mate, I can see the comments now. But why don't you just buy an iPhone? And then you could use AirTags and it'll be better.